What's going on, Ultra Buddies? Been took a gap week, so today's a big week for us. Geed, as you can see, and Decker will be the big topics for today, and then a few little small guys. But yeah, let's stop. Let's get into it. So level four for Geed. That means we have one more level four left, which spoiler it will be Decker. We don't know what it is yet. So Geed, Royal Mega Master. Um, Basic type, classic stats, 12, 17, 20, and a quad only effect, which you become used to. Activate, it's the first activate, once per turn, no cost. Choose one of your activate effects on your level 3 Geed and resolve it by paying its cost. You can ignore any single, double, or triple and usage limits that it has. And you can also activate no cost. So pretty big. It means you can kind of like worst case you can play like a activate as a single and just get its effect off. You could play the activate effect to double even if it might not be able to activate, and it would become you would be able to activate with Geed. Very flexible card. Let's I think we got to look a little bit at what Geed's activates are, and then we can really dive into it. So of course we have the Geed that we saw before, which is basically gives one of your other Geeds BP grade up, only activates on triple, but it's nice because you can play as a double, and then it can use its effect on itself, and actually can use its effect on itself. Choose one of your Geed. Okay, so it can't activate itself, so you can play this as a double now, worst case, and then still be able to activate it with the Royal Mega Master. We have this Geed Magnificent, which lets you send this cards off the discard and give types, which I feel like is kind of useless. That's okay. And then we have a list of other ones which are basically the same thing, like we just saw, but gives power type. I don't think you play those personally. And then the other ones that are actually useful is a Geed Magnificent from set 3, which BP grade decreases if your opponent is power armed for the cost of discard a card. And then Geed Claw from back in BP01, which is no cost to give plus 1,000. Oh, that was a handful. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, so I think the initial thought is you can double dip and do some of your effects. Like if we go back to the triple R Geed, if I understand right, you don't actually discard anything, right? You just have to reveal something in matches.
Hand, yeah.
So if you have it and you already have this as a triple, you can basically take any new Geed and like bump it up from like a single to triple BP.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a level 4 stack and a level 3 stack, so that's a lot easier said than done. But I think it opens a door for not feeling as bad of this card if you have to play as a double. Well, it's okay because you have your level 4 that you can use to bump this up to 18k.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like it also makes you feel maybe a little less bad if you play this as your triple and then you said, I really want to play the Royal Mega Master as a quad effect. Then you could play this one as a double later and still kind of like be using that effect. That's pretty good. I think the only other one that I really like using here is the Geed Claw. Mostly because it doesn't have an effect and it can affect any one of your characters. So it's just like the most versatile. It's also a 14,000 double, which is a very strong double that you suddenly get to just activate its effect. Like a 16,000 triple I was never happy to build this as a triple, but I had to activate its effect. But now playing a 14,000 double that can play this plus 1,000, that is pretty strong. It gives a little bit more flexibility. I think we see a lot of the decks that do the best have the ability to both BP grade up and give power, because BP grade up can sometimes like you can cap out and then just tie, and it's really important to be able to like, oh, we're 17 versus 17. Well, I have the 18 now. That's like a big point, a turning point in a lot of matches. So really interesting card. It'll be really a lot of fun to play because I think when you hit those like crazy setups with the new triple rare, and like we have this and the quad, it's gonna feel like so disgusting. um, and especially like you can combine it with the scene, which BB grade ups all your geed to just like have like 4 triples pretty easily, basically, which is pretty crazy. But I'm really excited. I think my last thought on this, I mean, I'm excited because like I've been wanting, I really like Geed in set 1, and then since then I've been like, Geed kind of sucks. So I'm really excited about this. It'll be a lot of fun for me to play around. But the last thing I want to say is, I kind of, I was like looking at Geed's like forms and stuff, and I always like when I looked it up, I was like, the Royal Mega Master form looks kind of dorky sometimes in some of the screenshots, but this looks cool. They gave him a good pose, a good look. I'm a big fan.
I think they did a good job with all the art for the level 4 cards. They don't feel like they need an AP. I'm not expecting an SP of these things or URs because they already look really premium, and I can't afford like another tier of rare cards on top of this.
Man. No, definitely not. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I love that it's like, I also like that like Royal Mega Master himself is like kind of golden, and then it's the golden border. That's really nice. So I just want to appreciate the art there. But that's it for the Mega Master for me, I think.
I think one thing I thought that'd be neat with so we've pretty much seen all the Geed cards, so you can kind of pretty much start putting together your BP5 wish list for this deck. But if BP5 has a lot of like, okay, everyone rush their level 4s in lane 1, what I find really interesting is the Geed Claw with that plus 1,000, you become 21k. So you have ways to like unblock those. Okay, I have a 20k lane, you have a 20k lane.
Yeah.
Now we're just tied, and I feel like this is a lot better for the long game because like Tiga or Zero, like you hit your on play and stuff happens, and then if you both tie at 20k, you might not end up taking the game that turn, and then this one will be able to just keep applying effects turn after turn. So I thought it was really cool that we have an activate base level 4.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It does feel like maybe a little bit more in line what you might want level 4s to be like. I guess it's just a different style, right? Like Tiga, Zero, all these other level 4s that we've seen so far. I guess Omega is a little bit different. But like Tiga and Zero, they feel like, boom, the level 4's coming down. You're going to have a crazy turn, and you're going to try to win that turn. And Geed feels like, okay, this card is kind of crazy. So let's let the longer that the game goes with this one, it's like kind of feels like that late game powerhouse kind of vibe. And then Omega is interesting because it's maybe like in the middle of those where it doesn't immediately impact the board because it lets you pick up like a 5/6 Medio Kaiju combo from discard, but the turn after it comes down is going to be the killer turn. So I like how they have a little bit of a different styles, but yeah, I definitely feel like the Geed is kind of like I'm coming down and I'm going to make this game very hard for you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we move on to Decker then?
Yeah. So this will be a fun deck to play for sure, and we'll set something up once the new set comes out.
Yeah. Okay. So Decker was the video for this week. Level 1, meh. It's Power of Devastation. Level 2, Scene Searcher. I like the art. Is this Dinah?
Or that's Decker. That's Decker in his Miracle type form.
It's just change. 2 Deckers. Okay.
Oh yeah. Some
very confusing for me.
Shadow clone kind of
okay.
illusion stuff.
Okay.
But
I see. I should have read the flavor text. Lets him split into multiple independent bodies. Cool.
It's also a speed type. I want to call that out. We don't always see a lot of those.
No, this might be the first Scene Switcher on speed type, to be honest.
We have, I think, Armed is...
We see Armed. Most of them are basic. Dinah's is a power. So speed, I think, is a new one. I don't know. It's just a Scene Searcher. I'm when I saw this, I was like, meh, because I think Decker is not a card that Decker is not a deck that wants really to accidentally nil its level 3. And but you know, they got to get the scene searcher before you can get the return 2, because that's the rules, I guess. Anyway,
I guess I don't think we've seen a new Decker scene for this set, have we?
I don't believe so.
So there could be.
Yeah,
I feel like there will be a
things
new
that I
type of
can.
Decker deck we see, but let's go into the big one.
So here we go, the triple rare. Boom. Level 3 Ultra Dual Sword. The type matters here because Decker is all about types right now. Activate a double or a triple once per turn, no cost. Give one of your triple Ultra Hero plus 1000 this turn for each character you have with Flash type, Strong type, Miracle type, or Dynamic type. And it's a reasonable 7, 13, 16. I mean, it's a weak 16, but it's able to give itself a bump, so it doesn't hurt that much.
It actually can't give itself a bump, which is where I really don't.
Can.
Wait, this is a.
It just doesn't count itself.
Oh, sorry. You're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't count itself.
The problem is it doesn't count itself.
Yes.
It actually is a big deal that it doesn't count itself.
Like keeping track, this is one thing I'm gonna have to pay attention to playing against Deckers is like Bolton. I can count. Okay, they have 4 Boltons. Easy math. This one, I don't recall like off the top of my head. Probably when you play more you'll see it. Like because they also have the new card that does something similar. But you have to look for specifically Dynas or Deckers that have one of these 4.
Right. Well, my guess is that you just like play all your stuff as like a type, because I've looked at like the Decker cards, like there's not really any like besides like Ultra Dual Sword, there's not really any other like types, I guess, that you really care that doesn't have an alternative or things like that. Like all the good cards are already within one of these 4 like subcategories of cards.
Oh, I agree there. It's just more of that mentality of remembering to count, because it'll be very easy to say, "Oh, I have 4 Deckers on the field," but no, this one doesn't actually count towards it.
Yeah, or if you have like 2 of these, then it's they both don't count. It's like kind of annoying. The other thing I don't super love is that it only affects triples. It makes it like Bolton, but like worse. Because you can't just play a double. Like you could play it as a double, but then it can only affect your triples. I don't know if I like it. At the very least, if you play it by itself as a triple, then it can become an 18k on turn 3. I do like that you've got like a lot of 18k options in Decker for triples now. So that's probably going to be the biggest benefit, but we'll see how it plays out with the quad rare coming out soon, because that's, I think, going to be a really big deal.
I think one thing to add, like whether you make this one 18k, oh wait, no, you're right. This one can only bump triples. It's a very awkward thing. So it's once you have him out, it's kind of predictable what lanes you can and can't bump.
Yeah,
which is a little weird. But the longer the game goes, even lanes that you previously tied with 18k versus 18k, or you might be losing in the beginning of the game, like 16k versus an arc 18k. If you can hang around for until turn 4, now you're tying. If you make it to turn 5, that lane's now winning. Decker usually has some really strong doubles, or double BPs, as like if the other Decker's out there. So
and like you were saying, like if you have the 20k versus 20k matchup with the Decker, you could actually be having your 18k versus 20k, and then now I'm 21.
Yeah.
Now I'm beating that lane. I didn't even have to commit the quad. Yeah. So very, very interesting. We'll see how it comes into play with all the different types and everything. It does make like a mono Decker or Decker Dyna a lot more interesting to play, like moving a little bit away from Trigger, because Trigger doesn't have the types subtype cards. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, Dyna also plays in well with the like wanting to build triples. But I do worry about the like whole, it's hard to get lead sometimes. That's always going to be the tricky thing. I think Decker was okay at getting lead, right? But it wasn't like, oh man, I got a double that acts as a 17k kind of taking lead.
We'll have to see. I feel like if we get an interesting new scene, there could be some things you could work with here. And then, I mean, we haven't seen the final level 4 yet, but this still feels like a very awkward place for a level 4 in a deck. That's why I'm wondering what kind of surprise we would get. Because if you have this as a triple and you upgrade it, you no longer can use this plus 1000 effect or plus X. Or if you upgrade your other BP1 triple R decker, then you can no longer activate your single pumping effect. So that level 4 has to either compensate or maybe does something different. Like just like how we saw Jeed did something different with an activate based effect. Maybe we have something unique for a decker level 4 that works off of triples.
Yeah, that's like, I think probably the way that it would work out the best, at least for Decker, because like this one needs to have a triple to be feel good, and the BPO one needs to have a triple, and if you make a quad, that doesn't feel so good, so that would be something to look out for. It'd be pretty interesting. Or if it had some text like this card counts as a triple, or your other cards count as triples if they're not actually triples, that would be a little maybe too crazy. Because then I think you would consider them like it would be like a buffed up version from BPO1. If you call them triples, then they should get the triple BP, which might be a little too strong. I think we're in the waiting room for the quad rare. That's at least my gut feeling on this.
Well, yeah, let's see what that one will be, and then that'll be pretty much. I think we've seen all the triple rares now for PP5.
Yes,
we're missing one quad rare, and we're getting some new cards coming in still that I'm a little bit excited about. But yeah, it's kind of, we're a month away, or it's at the end of this month, and probably in a few weeks time we'll have the full card list out on the app or the website.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Start seeing decks.
I think the things that I'm excited to see that are left are, I think we didn't get a Nexus level 3 yet.
Yeah,
and I haven't seen, like, there's Gaia and Agul cards, but I haven't seen like a nice card, like Ultra Hero card from them. We did see the scene.
There were some level 2s that
so
were rare.
There's some scenes. So I'm excited for the scenes too. Like the scenes always make a big thing. We'll talk about some scenes soon. And then for me, Kaiju as well. It seems like there's about like 10 slots left for Kaiju, and like they could also just be like, oh, it's a 10k to 16k double that decreases if extra grade decrease, so that versus power versus any type of card, it's absolutely terrible. But it could be something. So let's move on. We'll start with the non-scene card first. We talked about Nexus a little bit. Just got this double R. We've almost seen this card before in the Blazar. So why don't you go to? Oh, okay. There's actually some juice here, but go ahead and talk about this.
Yeah. So this is very similar to the Blazar we had from BP1. It only works as a double, whereas the Blazar did a minus 2,000 to your opponent's BP as an 11k base. This one does a plus 2,000 to itself, but they're both effectively like 13k for judgment purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that card in Blazar. It was really good at taking lead, but not locking yourself out of the rest of the game. So I think Nexus Blazar would probably work well. 13k probably gets you lead. You can get scarred out. And then you can still level it up into a triple, so you don't like miss like a 2-3 into like a tight mismatch or something.
Yeah. One thing I want to call out that I didn't notice the first time I looked is this card actually has 15,000 triple BP. I don't think Nexus can get it up to has a BP grade increase, but when they do, that's crazy.
Yeah, this is one you keep in the back pocket, because I was eyeing that number too, but yeah, there's nothing so far we see that does a BP grade increase.
Because if you could BP grade increase, it'd be 17 on the turn you play it.
Actually, I have the Blazar right here. The Blazar is actually the same thing.
Oh, really?
Looking at it, it's like
let's bring it up for the
same number. But you never really looked at it for the Blazer because the Blazer doesn't have like a BP grade increase like that. But
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it is a 15. I never noticed because they
I
can
mean,
never
it
take
was never
advantage of
relevant.
it.
So.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's
Cool. Good
I
to
guess
know.
it's like that's the stat line for this type of card. But it's when you start mixing it with characters that have the BP grade increase effects, like this will be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Okay, let's do our scenes. Deadly Fight, Dyna versus Dyna. So round 1, you give a Dyna plus 2,000. Nothing crazy there. I don't really have any thoughts on this other than Arc
It's
Dyna
like
that I like, but I don't know if you can fit it in there, so it's tough.
you could trade it for Arc to the Future, whereas like Arc to the Future I think is better because it could be any Ultra Hero, but you have to discard a card.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, like if you expect your like an Arc heavier Arc Dyna, you kind of play it for free without necessarily having to give up cards from hand. So
I'm definitely looking at a Dyna heavy version of this for BPO4. So I think I could consider this, but like you said, like being able to hit any Ultra Hero is actually pretty good. So we'll just see how it works out. Unfortunately, Arc nor Dyna are going to get a quad, which means we'll see if that deck lasts.
Yeah, well, the 2000's a good number because that would tie.
Yeah, because there's a lot
if you have an 18K.
Yeah, there's a lot of 18Ks.
Or if starter deck Arc is also out on the field, then you do hit 21.
True. So we'll see how it goes.
Some sneaky plays, we'll see.
Yep. Okay, and then our last card for today, Holy Sword of the Future. Round 2 scene, activate once per turn, no cost. The battle opponent of one of your victory with type armed loses and will not gain any BP grade increases for this turn, and then you discard the scene. So a nice little defensive/offensive tool. Just denying BP grade increases, which is pretty good. And I think all the reasonable victories we've seen so far are type armed. So
yeah. So one thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, because this is very similar to the trigger scene we had this set of like removing BP grade increases. I mean, we had some games where I felt like, oh, if you had it set up like it is a defensive play, you at least against like a Ginga lane or something. But I felt like that card didn't really change as much as we would have wanted it to for Trigger Decker. I don't know, because this is like the victory version of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So my issue with the trigger scene is that trigger got so the reason I think it didn't really affect Trigger Decker is because one, it's a trigger scene that only affects triggers and a trigger got a triple rare, but like trigger still kind of sucks. Like it's gotta be blunt. Trigger, like, it's not a good deck. You don't have any 18Ks, which is pretty detrimental these days. If you have 18Ks, your best lane is 17, and you have no ways to give it any plus 1000s or plus 2000s to those triples to get them over to be able to like fight those higher numbers. Your other good like thing that you want to play as a triple is a 16,000. So if you end up with a trigger heavy build to utilize the scene, then your cards kind of suck, to be honest. Like they're not competing on the level that you would want to compete on, and you can't always grab lead as effectively as you'd like. So you like half the time it's stuck in your hand, and you're like, well, this would have been really good if it was in play, but it's not. And the other time you're just like, well, the trigger cards kind of suck. So like I had like test hands with myself where I would play the trigger scene, and let me bring that up for people that like don't remember what this card does, so or what it looks like. So it's not. It's boom card types. Not kaiju scene. Okay, so it's very similar to this version. So what I'm basically saying is like I had some test games where I was able to get the scene out on round 2, and then I'm playing a double trigger that's a 14K and blocking a BP grade up. and then I'm playing another double trigger that's a 14k and blocking the grade up. Those are the games that like I'm winning, but like those don't feel like great. They don't feel like, wow, I'm doing something so powerful. It's like you feel like you just kind of like cheese together. So I think the scene is really powerful, but the triggers themselves is what is the issue here, not the scene. So when we go back to the victory, I think victory has a lot of like, they're not like fancy cards, but they're strong cards, and you can kind of like force really bad like you can kind of like force wins through basically with this. So I think it's a good scene. Whether or not it's better than the current like King of Victory scene that can like change types to get the BB grade increase, that's debatable. But I do think it'll be good.
I guess this is one of those like
Very
it depends
long-winded
on
there.
the. Yeah, no, but like this is where one benefit is this has no cost. The trigger one you actually have to discard, but this only gets one use out of it. But I do wonder about the matchup. Like in a mirror match, like this is nice to cancel out your opponents. Like, oh, your arm type BP grade increase. But like the cards that have BP grade increases today, or like stuff like Jeed, that could be interesting. Kaijus like Zetons, Gingas, other victories. Though none of the victories would get it's like in a mirror match. It's kind of weird because it only works on a victory into a Ginga, because victories get BP grade increases for what power in basic.
Yeah.
So if you're an armed victory, unless they can't use their scene because you have your scene.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like I want to really look at what matchups this can have an impact in, and then do those matchups actually matter.
Yeah. I think my gut feeling is that you like Magna Wave is just such a good scene. You don't replace it at all, because Magna Wave gets to give you the type change so that you get a BP grade bump somewhere, and then you also get a plus 1000. So it's one of the few scenes that can flip 2 lanes at the same time, and that's really like, it's so strong.
Really good.
Okay, I think we can cut it there. Decker in the waiting room still, I think, a little bit. We have to see how well the quad rare plays with triples, because making a quad instead of a triple turns off a lot of Decker things. And then Geed Mega Master. Sorry, like that. Geed Mega Master. It's going to be fun. It's going to be pretty crazy. I think my biggest worry, to end on my biggest worry for Geed, is that you really likes being a mono deck, and you might not have that many cards to support a quad plus a triple to make your like super dream setup. Yeah.
Well, you never know. It's an activate. Dyna can make it a little easier.
True. We could do like a Geed Dyna maybe.
You play 2-3 Dynas, it becomes or 2-3 Jeeds, it becomes a 1-2-3 Jeed, and then it's perfect for a quad level up. It's a bit of a stretch.
We'll see.
At least
it'll be fun though. All right, we'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully that should be the Geed quad rare. So looking forward to it.
Decker quad rare, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Decker. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
All right. Thank you.